This is another reason I've been changing the return to launch and loiter circle on my platforms. This is the same sod company that has given me permission to fly at their fields. This site is within 3 miles of my house. It's right in the middle of a populated area. And they have asked me not to fly out of the boundaries that you see on the screen. That still gives me 70 acres there to fly. There are some problems there. This line of trees right here, they're pretty tall, as are these right here, because these are sort of up on the hill. These along the creek, they're not that tall, but they're not short either. And the problem that presented me was, if I use the 100-meter circle radius, here, well, this is the road coming in. So if you turn in and stop right here to fly, technically this area right here is where they want people to fly. But I can get away with using this area on this side of the trees without them getting too upset. But you see, there is if I can get it set, we'll stop right there. There is a 60-meter circle. Let's see if that's the radius, or yep. So it's the same as the airplane. It's a 121-meter diameter circle, but it is a 60-meter radius. So when looking at that, if I keep it over myself and flew from here, you see I'd be out over the road, and that road's pretty busy. I could use a waypoint, rally point, actually, and move up to right here on the road to fly, and then I would be circling this area for my loiter or return to home. I could also move up to here and be in really good shape, which is where I think I'll fly from there. And you see that's the secondary problem. If that radius of that circle was 100 meters, ah, 99.88, we'll call that 100. You see, that is very tight in there. Doesn't get me over these trees, but also right here, it barely fits. If I set it to 100-meter radius on the loiter radius, it barely lets me keep 100% sight of the platform there. And that certainly doesn't really work over here. Well, it does work, but not well. But the 60-meter radius, which is what I've set it back to the default, gives me a better opportunity to fly at this site without getting in trouble with the owners. And there's houses all around here. can't get out there early in the morning. They'll be raising the roof. But the 60 meters, if I use a rally point and stick it out here anywhere, would be good. Don't want to stick it way out here, but even doing this would work. Even doing that over here would work, just barely along this boundary. So that's another reason I dropped that back down to the default radius of 60 meters. That's a 120 meter diameter circle across the whole thing. So, like I say, this sod field is 3 miles away rather than almost 30 miles away and over a 30-minute drive. I can get out there easily. If conditions aren't good, I can get back. It's a 5-minute drive with the traffic lights. So that's one reason I have done that. And one of the big reasons I have done that is that UAV forecast app I'm using for winds isn't being very accurate, it seems, in both directions. Either the wind's higher than it's forecasting, or it's forecasting high winds, but they don't occur. I'm having a little trouble with that. So I decided to set up to be able to go to this field real quick, check the conditions. If the conditions are too high, the UAV forecast says, it's too windy to fly. And I go there and I find it to be true, cool. If it says it's calm enough to fly and I go there and find it to be too windy, cool. It's a very short distance away from the house. And basically, I'm just really beginning not to trust that application for telling me wind speeds, especially going way out to the other field. The other field is way away from this field. Here's this field. And the other field you'll see here is a long, long, long drive away. Now, I like this field better because this field is much bigger. There was about 60 acres back in that other field. This particular field right here, we just map it out roughly, real quick. I don't know that I should be flying this close to the road or to their storage building, but again, this is a rough mapping. That's 172 acres. And if I really pushed it, you could break this out like this and stay away from bothering people in houses. Oops, screwed that up, didn't I? And that's just a rough expansion. That's 536 acres. So, and you got to watch it. This is a big town right here. Lots of houses, lots of people raising the roof if you go out too early and make noise. But that's one of the reasons I'm changing that Loiter radius. Okay, so I guess that explains that a little more. I'm going to go out. It's supposed to be 31 mile an hour winds at noon today. It's 11:12. I don't have any battery charge, but I am going to drive out to that field and compare the actual winds against that app today here. Like I say, it's just a 5-minute drive. Okay, that's just a little bit about what's going on. Thank you, guys.